Hello and welcome to Elecspo, and today we're going 10 years into the future. So pack your bags, say goodbye to your loved ones, and make sure you have a toilet trip before we leave, and get ready to embark on a journey to April 2031. Right, what we're going to do is go through the current 20 Premier League managers and see where each one of them is in the year 2031. And if you haven't already, make sure you whack the subscribe button and hit the bell to ensure you never miss a video here at Elecspo. Thank you to everyone who helped me hit 30,000 subscribers the other week. That was absolutely class, but now it's time to move on to the next milestone. Right, on with today's video. Mikel Arteta, Leeds United. While Arsenal stopped believing in the process in 2021, Mikel Arteta is finally flying high in the Premier League. After stepping down to manage Brentford and guide them to promotion, Mikel Arteta is now Leeds United boss, and it's fair to say things are going very well. The Pep Guardiola disciples restored Leeds to their former glory, already winning the FA Cup and the Europa League. He's also had a top 4 finish in the Premier League, and he's now launching an assault on the title, with his team 7 points shy of the leaders with 5 games to go. Dean Smith disappeared. I'm just going to assume Dean Smith retired to absolutely no fanfare. While he's having a wonderful time in reality as manager of Aston Villa, on FM in 10 years time he's nowhere to be seen. In this simulation he got the sack in February 2021, proving early on that this video is just going to be a load of absolute bollocks. But I mean, it is just a game, we're not trying to predict the future here guys. Graham Potter, Swansea City. Okay, so we're not predicting the future, but we are going back in time. That's because Graham Potter is back where it all began as a manager in the UK, as he takes his XG skills all the way back to Wales with Swansea. They're currently sat in the bottom half of the championship with no hope of going up or no fear of going down, which is probably what Potter wishes life was like at Brighton right now. Sean Dyche, Nottingham Forest. Yes, in 2031 Sean Dyche is no longer Burnley manager. He left the Clarets in 2024 to manage Leicester, but got the sack there a year later. After that he managed both Bournemouth and Brighton with varying degrees of success, experiencing both relegation and promotion. Now he's in the Championship with yo-yo club Nottingham Forest and is challenging for promotion just months after arriving. Sadly though, he hasn't been able to take Chris Wood with him. Thomas Tuchel, Bayern Munich. Our biggest manager so far, and he's managing our biggest club so far. While Thomas Tuchel has got off to a wonderful start as Chelsea boss bar that disaster against West Brom, in 10 years time he's gone up another level, taking over Germany's biggest club in Bayern Munich. He's already won a couple of Bundesliga titles at the Allianz and entered the Managerial Hall of Fame. But that didn't stop Chelsea sacking him in 2024. Christ, Roman Abramovich would sack his own mother if he had the chance. Roy Hodgson retired. I mean, of course Roy Hodgson's retired by April 2031, he'll be 83 by then. If anything, he should be retired now. Christ, either his wife can't stand him being in the house, or he's desperate to be as far away from possible as Mrs Hodgson. Maybe that explains why he used to manage all over the world. Poor lass. Carlo Ancelotti retired. Just like Roy Hodgson, Carlo Ancelotti is called it a day by April 2031. He'll be 71 there, no doubt sat at home with his feet up guzzling wine before tucking into some delicious pasta or other stereotypical Italian things. His final job in management was Tottenham, which is enough to put anyone into retirement to be honest with you. Scott Parker, Fulham. Do not be fooled, this is not the fairy tale story you thought it was. Scott Parker has not stayed at Fulham for 10 years. He's actually back for a second spell after leaving the club in 2026 to manage England. He then stepped down after failing to win the Euros in 2028, he went to West Ham and got the sack, and now he's a few months into his return to Fulham where he looks unlikely to keep them in the Premier League. Dry your eyes mate, I know it's hard to take. Marcelo Bielsa retired. He's another one of the Premier League's more aged managers, so it's no surprise that Marcelo Bielsa has retired, but importantly, he went out as a hero. In 2023 he left Leeds to replace Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, and he spent 4 years there winning the trophies that had eluded him throughout his career. 2 Champions Leagues, a Club World Cup, an FA Cup, 2 League Cups, it was a somewhat perfect end for the managerial maestro that is Marcelo Bielsa. Brendan Rodgers disappeared. Genuinely, no idea what's happened to Brendan Rodgers. He'd only be 58 in 10 years time, so you'd think he'd still be managing by then, but on FM in 2031 he's nowhere to be seen. Maybe he left to run a successful paper merchant in Slough, or front a rock band that was once supported by Texas. Who knows? Jurgen Klopp, Atletico Madrid. While he wasn't replaced by Steven Gerrard, Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool adventure came to an end in 2030. He didn't even get to go out on his own back after all that time, with the Liverpool board handing him his P45 despite winning another 3 Premier League titles. Well, he's in Spain now, taking over at Atletico Madrid from Diego Simeone. Pep Guardiola retired. At the age of 55, Pep Guardiola retired. How weird. He called it a day at Man City in 2023, which created the opening for his hero Marcelo Bielsa. But Pep left the Etihad having achieved his dream, eventually ending his Champions League hoodoo with City in 2022. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United. Finally, we have a manager who is still at the same club. 10 years into the future, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still patrolling the Old Trafford touchline, hopefully not winding about the players being distracted by flags in the stand. But he has got a fair few medals, as Solskjaer has finally taken Man United back to the glory days of Sir Alex Ferguson. He's won 4 Premier League titles and various other honours, and has got an incredibly exciting team that I might make a video about if you're interested. If you want to see what teams look like in 10 years time, let me know in the comments below. Steve Bruce retired. Yes, Newcastle fans, Steve Bruce is no longer manager. In fact, he's retired, leaving the game to either start a baking company, hire a detective to find out who the mole was in the Newcastle camp, fight Matt Ritchie on pay-per-view, or write more crime novels. Paul Heckenbottom, Sheffield United coach. While he's not the full-time boss, Paul Heckenbottom is still calling the shots at Bramall Lane at the time of recording, so he's the man we're going to focus on. And in 2031, he's still at Bramall Lane, although just as a coach, he's not manager. He did get himself a spell as caretaker boss, but he's now working under former Chelsea centre-back Gary Cahill in the Championship. Ralph Hasenhüttl, unemployed. Out of all the managers we're looking at here, Ralph Hasenhüttl is the only one who is out of work in April 2031. He hasn't got a club, he hasn't retired, he's just sat on the unemployment line staring at his phone begging for a football club to ring him. And over the past 10 years, he hasn't really had an illustrious career. His last club was Bristol City, where he got the sack, despite getting them into the Premier League. I mean, he did take them back down, but let's just ignore that, okay? Ryan Mason, Tottenham coach. Well, since Jose Mourinho got the sack, it looks like Ryan Mason's going to be the boss until the end of the season. And on FM in 10 years' time, Mason is still with the club. But he hasn't made it as a manager yet, still spending his days as a coach. As for Jose Mourinho in 2031, the special one is still managing. Not just that, he's taken his talents to the international stage. And is there a better fit for him than Italy? A nation formerly known for being pragmatic, now managed by the biggest pragmatist the game has ever seen. It's a match made in heaven, and one that delivered the World Cup to Italy in 2030. Sam Allardyce retired. Part of me thinks Sam Allardyce will still be getting the Premier League jobs in 2031, but on Football Manager he's called it a day. His grandson's still going though and keeping the Allardyce flag flying high, representing Carlisle United in League 2 after a career that has barely seen him play any football at all. How fitting. David Moyes retired. He might be taking West Ham into the Champions League in reality, but on Football Manager, David Moyes is no more in 2031. I just mean he's retired, I don't think he's dead. Let's move on. Nuno Espirito Santo, Brentford. We end things with the current Wolves boss, but Nuno is no longer at Molineux. Instead, he's in his 5th season as Brentford boss. With the Bees, he's been relegated and promoted again, but in 2031 he's fighting to avoid the drop, sitting 2 points adrift with 6 games to go, 2 of which are games in hand. Can he do it? Let me know in the comments below if you want to find out. So there we have it, that is where every current Premier League manager is in 10 years time according to Football Manager 2021. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo, and until next time we will see you around.